Hello everybody, it's you, TheExceptionalGamer here, bringing you another Call of Duty Black Ops 4 zombie storyline video, and today we're going to be looking at Dead of the Night and how that fits into the Chaos Crew story and what's to come next. If you have not watched my other video basically summarising the story of Voyage of Despair and 9, then I'm gonna put an iCard in the top right corner of the screen so you can see that and be able to watch it and get up to speed. And if you have already watched that video and you're waiting for me to get into this, then today's your day. It's going to be a pretty saucy one, so get comfy. Quick note here before I get into this. This map is a prequel, so that means that this is before the events of Voyage and 9. So there may be some things that, if you haven't watched my other video or aren't familiar with the story of Voyage and 9, then you might not understand the kind of terms that I'll be throwing out. But anyways guys, let's get straight into this. Alistair Rhodes is hosting a party, and which, you know, this is the intro that I'm describing here, by the way. We see our characters doing their own thing, you know, they're just kind of like, the Brigadier's just like showing off his gun, and the Cowboy's just kind of walking around, things like that. Everyone's just doing their own thing. But then we see Godfrey, who is the butler, and he has been taken control of by the cult. He has the red kind of line that goes on his forehead. Godfrey and the cult are in possession of Alistair Rhodes, which is obviously Scarlett's father, and they have kidnapped him. Godfrey's writing some ancient looking symbols in a circle around the balcony area near to the end of the cutscene, and the cult suddenly activate the trial via the artifact, and the 4 characters that we play as are safe since they are stood inside of Godfrey's ritual, and that's because they all ask where Alistair is since he's not even at his own party. The trial is something that we saw in 9 and Voyage of Despair. It's basically where one of the cult leaders or cult members, whatever, they activate the trial, and everyone who is not in this kind of safe circle is turned into a zombie, and the people who are safe are doing a trial to see if they are deemed worthy. Before I even get on to my next point, I'm going to refer back to the Easter egg ending cutscene of Voyage of Despair, more particularly the scene where we see Bruno with the same mark that Godfrey has, you know, kind of being mind controlled by the cult, on the boat, and he covers it with the lantern, and then the cutscene ends. The mark is something that is shared by Bruno and Godfrey, and this is fully explained to us how this mark works, how this kind of mind control and brainwashing essentially works. Right at the beginning, when you spawn in as Godfrey, you actually hear, as the subtitles calls him, Dark Godfrey talking to him. Godfrey doesn't remember certain things, and this suggests that Dark Godfrey and the mind control had taken over, and therefore normal Godfrey just can't remember it because it wasn't him in control. In Voyage of Despair, the dark version of Bruno wasn't present, and I'm assuming it was set up like that deliberately, since that was meant to kind of be the big twist at the end of that cutscene, and so that this DLC map could explain how that mark works. So I'm just going to assume that Bruno did hear a dark version of himself. The way the cutscene of Voyage of Despair and the conversations that Godfrey and Dark Godfrey have, it kind of implies that once you're in a trial, you can't be brainwashed fully and taken control of by the cult, but however, you can be kind of influenced and persuaded into doing things. Just with the way all of that's going, it seems very plausible. There is a gramophone on the map that, if you play it, you actually get to find out a bit more about Alistair himself and the estate, and just a bit more lore about the actual map. Alistair bought the estate since it contained ancient ruins, and he liked exploring said ancient ruins. The previous owner, Edward Covington's house, was burnt down, and he just completely fled the area. You can actually find out a bit more about Covington and what kind of went down by finding the nanny in a painting and kind of resurrecting her for a pack-a-punch step that you may get sometimes. If you are playing on the map and you're getting pack-a-punch and you do get this step, definitely take some time to listen to the nanny and what she's saying whilst you're following her to get the next part for Pack-a-Punch. It's pretty interesting. The nanny accidentally poisoned a baby, and I'm assuming that she took her own life as a result. But however, if there is an actual reason hidden in the map somewhere that we just don't know about, then apologies. So during the 9th century, the Vikings invaded the British Isles. They tried to radically introduce their Norse religion by wiping out the Celtic one. Around Alistair's estate, he found old armour which belonged to knights which were exploring the ruins. By delving a little deeper, he found a werewolf figurine which suggests that the druids made some sort of curse on people and they were turned into wolves in order to protect the forest. And by the way, this may also explain the vampires as well. The Celtic druids are mentioned on another gramophone, and they had their final battle with the Vikings on the very grounds of the estate. The artifact is different on this map, and it looks like kind of naturistic, I guess you could say. It looks very earthly and things like that, and that suggests that this trial is a Celtic one, and it has the same kind of fashion of the Perk statue for Danu. Something I wanted to mention which is really cool is when you do the final step to Pack-a-Punch and you kind of go into the woods, you actually see the wolves, and that's really, really cool. It's a nice little attention to detail kind of thing, especially since Alistair actually concludes on one of the gramophones that the Celtics actually turned their enemies into the werewolves to protect the forest. I know I mentioned that earlier, but I just wanted to kind of reinforce it because it's just a cool bit of map lore. Once the Easter egg is done and our characters complete the trial, we see the Easter egg ending cutscene. Our characters see Voyage's Sentinel artifact, which is the same thing that happens in Voyage. You know, they see somewhere else, and this means that our characters are deemed as worthy. Godfrey's mark comes back on his head, and the brainwashing happens again. The cult are taking control, and he ends up killing all of the other three. Just as that happens, Scarlet shoots Godfrey and demands answers as to where Alistair is. Godfrey states that it's already too late for Scarlet, as Alistair is being transported and kidnapped whilst he is saying this. Godfrey then bleeds out, and Scarlet hops in the car and chases Alistair and the cult. Just when Scarlet sees them and catches up with them, they escape via plane, and Alistair provides her with a plan B, which is he left her a letter that says that he trusts 3 people to help him, which are, you guessed it, Bruno, Shaw and Diego. Scarlet gets in contact with them and finds them, and they go off of what she sees when the characters see the same vision just before they get killed, and this is the same artifact as Voyage of Despairs, and they go off of that, and that is where their quest starts. Whilst this isn't any progression for the Chaos Crew story, it's definitely a bit more world building and solidarity overall of this story. It made me enjoy it a lot more, and all of this that can be uncovered on the map is absolutely fantastic. It definitely helps explain the mark that Bruno has via Godfrey and the Dark Godfrey. I think that is very nice as well. I absolutely love the historical aspect that they've got going with the gods, the mythology, the Celtics, and you know, all that stuff, and the Vikings. Like I said, it just really makes the story feel like very, very dense, and when we're only on the first DLC, I'm actually looking forward to see where this is gonna go and what is next for the Chaos Crew. I will be very interested to hear your theories and thoughts. I just want a cool discussion about this. You know, make it civil, no hate, no shade, just nothing like that. If you want to discuss, then feel free to, because I will be hopping down in the comments happily. So the last video I did that got a huge discussion was the ranking every specialist weapon. That got so many comments, and that was so fun to just see what everyone was thinking. So I want to do the same this time. Tell me your thoughts and everything, tell me your theories, I want to hear it all. But anyways guys, I'm gonna leave this video here today. If you enjoyed and want more of this, be sure to smash that like button, comment and subscribe for more. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.